You're still in level 3, New Zealand. Hello, rest of the world. How are you? You
Good.
are watching the daily debrief, but we're not far away from going level 2. We just found out today. So sports are coming back, everyone. Sports, you're back. New Zealand rugby, you're back. New Zealand soccer, you're back. New Zealand basketball, you're back. New Zealand netball, you're back. New Zealand league, you're back. I don't quite know about the school sports yet. I didn't get that far down into the document. Triathlon, you're probably there too. Even duck hunting, I don't care, whatever you are, but wherever you are, it's fantastic. And there's a $25 million government relief package for anyone operating outside of the professional sports sphere. Now, May the 7th, fellas, you know why May the 7th is a cool day, eh?
Mate, love May the 7th.
Because on this day in 1965, a guy called Keith Richards woke up out of a dream, grabbed his tape recorder, went dun, 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 and then fell back asleep. And as he puts it, I woke up, I turned on my tape recorder, there was 30 seconds of this cool riff, then a loud clang, and then 45 minutes of me snoring. He woke up, he recorded that, and it's the true story of it, and that is the story of I Can't Get No Satisfaction. But look, two of us in Te Atatu, one of us in Tamworth, because we like to keep it T. That is Blake Aysh over there across the Tassie. How are you, sir?
Good, mate. I'm good. Well, not really. I just spent 20 minutes trying to, find some lip balm in my bag, and obviously I haven't packed it. So now I've got cracked lips for the next 2 weeks. So I'll be moisturising like this.
You are a grub. You are a grub. Look at you. Falling apart.
There's cracks in them. I'm gone 2 weeks. Man
how
down.
Desperate are you? Have you tried? You know how like in the bathroom there's those toiletries and one of them's like a moisturizer. Would you try just a moisturizer?
Yeah, I haven't actually looked. I haven't actually thought about that. So
yeah, just use them.
There next.
They'll have a body lotion in the shower. Just grab some of that. Yeah.
Some soap or something. Yeah,
do something.
Yeah.
I'll give you guys a bad dad joke of the day because I took some heat for not continuing on with my bad dad jokes today.
The bad dad jokes.
But then we have to bring in our guest, Kai Cutter France, who's going to talk a little UFC with us. He's sitting there waiting to go. Bad dad joke of the day. What do sprinters eat before a race?
I don't know, Mark. What do sprinters eat before a race?
Nothing. They fast.
Pretty good.
You like that?
That's quite good.
I'm so glad I got that out of the way before Kai Cutter France came on.
Before he came in.
It's embarrassing.
Well, we just we spoke before about it's really cool news that there's lots of things that are available to come. So Super Rugby's going to get up and running again soon. Get the league back on. All sorts of things going on again in New Zealand. But this weekend, the UFC is back. And remember, I think since we've been doing this show, we've theorised that it might be on an oil rig. It might be on Waiheke Islands. It might be on some sort of other private island, maybe on a battle train. I think, Pierre, didn't you want this UFC to be on a moving train that was on fire?
Yes.
Just as it's going.
Well, who's going to stop that? You know, who's stopping a moving train on fire? In the back of the coach. Kai Cutter
Francis, and there he is right there. He just goes boom and hits it. How are you, man?
What's up, boys? Yeah, I'm good. How are you guys?
Good.
Got the dude too.
Yeah, look at that.
Like it.
The Demolition Man. Yeah, man. It's good. Hey, so different sort of excitement for fight week for you and everyone at City Kickboxing and in the MMA world. Hey, this is crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty unique times, especially on my sport. It will be the only one happening this weekend. So I'm itching to watch. I'm actually itching to fight again. But it's a stacked card. So many names on it.
Kai, how do you watch? I mean, this is a dumb question, but I know when I sit and watch on the couch, I always find myself like getting into the clinch, and I have never fought before in my life, so I don't know what I'm doing. But I can't just sit still and watch a fight. How are you as an actual fighter, a UFC fighter, watching a fight at home?
It's a lot more intense when I know the person fighting because I feel like, I'm in the fight. But a lot of the times I'm moving with what's happening and I'm like reacting to certain things just because it's instinct and you feel like you want to be in there as well. But this weekend will be interesting with my old coach co-headlining it. Henry Cejudo is fighting Dominic Cruz, so
yeah, man.
I know him quite personally and we're good friends, so it'll be cool to see him back in action. One of the big things what I'm looking forward to is just seeing the quality of fights. Are they going to be the same as usual? Because everyone's doing the same thing, getting ready in their garage. no proper fight camp, so that's going to be something unique to watch.
You like you just mentioned that. So when you were on the Ultimate Fighter,
Yeah.
so you've had a similar experience to this, right? So I guess what you would call your official sort of first UFC experiences in that training center where you're not fighting without a crowd. So how does that? Can you explain to me the difference in performance for you of adrenaline of fighting there and then say like fighting in that Spark Arena? Does it actually change anything?
Not really, bro. Like the thing that's always the same is it's just you and him in the octagon. You and him in the cage. There's a ref in the middle of you guys, so it doesn't matter who's around. I could fight in the backyard. I could fight in front of 15,000 people. You're gonna get the same feelings. So yeah, it's gonna be unique with no crowd. But yeah, same result. You're just gonna go in there with same game plan and try to get a finish.
And how does that happen? Like to know where you're fighting and things like that. So is it Dana will call you up, or someone there, the delegator will call you up and go, "Hey mate, we've got this fight. You're on, keen or not?"
Yeah, so there's two matchmakers. So there's a matchmaker for every weight class. So for me, I speak to a guy called Mick Maynard, and he's the one that pretty much tees up all the fights. So I have my coach, who's my manager, who comes to me, "Hey, we've been approached with this fight. Do you want to take it?" And then it's a kind of collective decision if we take it or not. And it all depends on where they want you to fight. Usually they put you in the same area. So, me being from New Zealand, they'd put me on the Australia or New Zealand cards or in Asia. And then when they put you in American cards, that's when they really want to get behind you and push your name more out there. So from kickboxing now, we've got a big target on our back because we've got a lot of killers at our gym, but I guess it's a good thing.
You said they push you when you go to America. So if you don't fight in America, does it feel like stink? Like, oh, these guys don't reckon I'm a good fighter, or is it?
No, it's just one of those things. Like you just got to play to your strengths. Like you bring in a big crowd back at home and fighting in front of your friends and family. Like that's better than fighting in America. But when you fight over there, that's where you become mainstream worldwide. Everyone kind of knows you. So it's like there's a catch 22. You fight in front of your friends and family, or you make a bigger name for yourself. But it's good to get a bit of both. I'd fought a lot I fought a lot overseas. So fighting in Spark Arena for the first time. That's the first time I fought in New Zealand in about 5 years. So it was awesome to fight in front of friends and family that haven't seen me fight before. Just kind of really soaking all that support, and obviously to get the win, no better feeling. So. Yeah, it's just one of these things. I heard about this Fight Island they're doing for the UFC, so we'll see what happens with all of that. I haven't really committed to taking a fight. They've approached me, but I'm just gonna see how the first one kind of plans out, and then go from there because it seems pretty far fetched, the idea of fighting on a private island, bro.
No. Well, hang on. What about this though? We're just about. Looks like we're going to be out of the COVID forest soon, right?
Yeah.
Imagine going out into like the Auckland Harbour, fighting on out on Titty, out there where there's it's like a reserve. So there's just the octagon and the UFC guys, and they'll be fighting, and then like a wicker goes past in the background. But that couldn't be more New Zealand. Like, what do you reckon though? That we might be able to say, you guys could come down here because you could actually have a whole corner. And guess what? We'll provide a crowd. Do you think that like the UFC or Dana would go for that if he knew that he could have something with cheering fans?
You need to pitch this to him. That's what you need to be doing.
Mr. White, sir, come on.
Get a few boats and stuff parked around the sides. There could be on something here. Get a few donuts.
Yes.
A few dinghies on the back. You're good to go.
Hey, Clyde, can you tell me about your Can you tell me about your relationship with, is it Mick Maynard, did you say? The guy who sets up fights with you? Have you got his number in your phone? Is it like something that you're nervous when he rings? Like, how does that relationship work? Because he's basically the man who's telling you who you're about to have a ruckus with or not. Yeah, no, me and him have got a good relationship. He likes me. Whenever I see him, we always catch up and have a good chats. And I have his number as well as Dana White, so I can text him from time to time. I've texted him before, Dana White, because he said he'd give me some more bonus money, and then he held to his end of the bargain and came through just with some fist bumps. So that obviously, yes. Oh, awesome. So yeah, it's just one of these things. I'm here to fight. That's my job. But if the boss is happy and
you got them on your side and you're in the good books, and try to stay that way.
Yeah.
No drunk texts though. No
No
drunk.
drunk text.
Yeah, yeah, no
no
drunk
text,
texting. Yeah.
I've had a few typed up before, but I had to quickly delete it.
Can you
Oh, what is it?
can you tell us
Maybe
who
time was better.
who did you who did he approach you with? This is from Christopher Reed. Are you allowed to tell us who with the island and he approached you with a text as to who you might be fighting?
Like,
Nah, so I was supposed to fight in San Diego. So I had a fight booked after the UFC Auckland card. I was fighting in San Diego May 16, so it would have been next week. So when we went into lockdown, pretty much, I just assumed the fight's off, because I was seeing in America that all the events in California where the fight would have been are all cancelled. So I'm like, yeah, sweet, I can enjoy my my food and have a few beers and stuff. But
Yep.
they said to me, we're still trying to work it out. But it was just so hard. I can't even leave my house, let alone train at a gym, prepare for something that I don't know what I'm getting myself into. I can't even leave the country. So I told my coach, let's just, we just said, let's say my family's not comfortable with me fighting. So ultimately I have to listen to them, and they're out for my best interest. So we declined the fight. And then, so yeah, we had a Skype meeting with Dana White, all the fighters on the roster, and just answering any questions and queries that we have, and pretty much said fights are still going to be happening, but they won't be in the places that you were contracted to fight. So now they'll be in Miami, and then on this fight island that starts in June, I think. They'll fly you in on a private jet.
yeah.
Yeah.
Go there for a month in advance. So you go and train on this island, and then you fight at the end of it. And there's no crowd. It's on a beach. There's like facility to live in, train at, restaurants and whatever. And then, yeah, you have your team that's with you, and then you come back home. So it's like Mortal Kombat, eh? It's something. It's crazy, eh?
Wouldn't that be weird? Like sitting on an island and you're about to go and smash this bloke, and you're sitting across him at the dinner table, like having some grub and that, and you're like, I'm just about to fold you, and we're sitting here.
It's one of these things. Like in the Ultimate Fighter, I was living with 16 other guys, and we had to do that. We had to live with each other, and then we were fighting each other to get a UFC contract. So it's something I've had to deal with already, where I don't take it personally. It's just business, and I don't have to hate you to fight you. It's just a part of the gig, We're just here to better our lives, and unfortunately, you gotta beat someone up to do it. But at the end of the day, like, I have a beer and shit with my opponents after my fights, and there's no bad blood. So it's just the kind of mindset you got to have when you step in the ring with someone. You have that kind of mutual respect already, just because it takes so much to get in there. So once the fight's done, any like bad blood or something that you had with someone, it automatically squashes, and then it's just, you just can be normal again. But yeah, I feel like that won't really be too much of an issue going over there. But yeah, I think a few of the boys want to get on the card together, so we'd all travel over, stay on the island or whatever, and fight at the end. So it's a pretty unique situation, and it'll be cool to kind of be a part of. I just want to see how it works out first, and then commit to it.
How cool would it be if Auckland City Kickboxing arrived with the New Zealand Air Force Orion swooping over, and you guys just parachute out the back on the island? That'd be amazing. You were just talking about that mindset thing, and I read this really cool thing from Hickson Gracie once, where he was talking about, and they said, it was really early on in the days of martial arts. I think it was possibly like even maybe before UFC 1. I read it in this article, and they were saying like this mind frame here. And he said, "Oh no, I never think I'm fighting I'm never mad at the guy." Because I imagine that I'm trapped in a cage and I'm trying to catch this animal, but this thing's called a human, and they're really clever and they're really hard to catch. And that's the only thought I ever have. Do you ever go somewhere like that with him, or are you just going, I'm fighting Blake and I know I've got to kick his shin, so I've got to move to that? Like, is that yes, fight Blake because I'm old. You've got to fight Blake.
Punching him up.
Is that what you do? Like, is that where your is that where your mind goes to? And like, my job is this.
Yeah, it's one of these things you don't fight. You take emotion out of it, and you kind of you're present, but you're not all there. It's just instinct, It's just like drilling a like a sequence in a rugby game where you just know it to a T, where you're not thinking anymore. It's just reaction, muscle memory. It's all kicked in, and and your experiences get you to that point where you can kind of switch off or switch on, and block everything out. So now with me having fought over 30 times professionally now, you know, I fought in about 15 different countries. Last year I fought 5 times in 1 year, so it all just becomes second nature, I guess. And that's what you want. You want as much experience as you can. Like when I was growing up, I used to just compete in everything. So I used to do jiu-jitsu, boxing, kickboxing, wrestling, just to get better and familiar with situations. So when I eventually progressed into MMA, I wouldn't be shocked or overwhelmed by like the level of talent, or I would have already seen the look. So I would never be like, what's he doing? You know, like there's a system that everyone uses. And at City Kickboxing, the gym that I train out of, we've got a system that obviously is working, and people are trying to catch on to it. There's so many little details that it's over my head. My coaches are ones that's what they're known for, is those small details, which makes a massive difference at that high level. And people think you're just moving or like, oh, he's fainting, but there's so much more that's happening. So that's what we bring to the table coming from New Zealand. And it's kind of nice being so far away from everything, because America really sleeps on you. You know, they don't understand what's happening, and that's what we want. Before you know it, you know, all of our guys are going to be champs in the UFC, and people are going to be, what are they doing that's different? And it's nothing that we're doing that's different. It's just we're sticking to the basics, and it's just those little things that slowly build up, and eventually, you take all the belts.
Just take all the belts.
Taking it all.
Nato, can you walk us through a couple of the big fights this weekend, and we can we can get Kai's thoughts on it. The one that takes my fancy, and only because he scares the living shit out of me, and that was something I wanted to ask as well from you, Kai, is there anyone in your division you look at and go, oof? No, I'm not saying scared, just saying, fuck, he's all right.
I've got to be on for that guy. I mean, like, oh man, Francis Ngannou.
That's who I was thinking.
As well,
not your division,
man.
but man,
like bangers. But then there's also that danger of no one throws. What happens?
Yeah, I met Francis at the UFC PI in Las Vegas when I was last there a few months ago for Israel's fight. He's massive. He's he's massive, but he's such a nice guy, so humble and like so down to earth. But a silent killer, like this is one guy you wouldn't want to get on into his bad side, could just put you to sleep.
Bro, with that Overeem punch, man, I will never he lifted him.
Oh my God,
wow.
Yeah, that was crazy,
large, man. But you know, the guy's fighting's got real good power too, right?
So this guy, is this the guy that fought
Rosenstruck? That late win.
Did he fight Toffer? No. That's the guy that's fighting Hardy, right? I actually haven't seen this guy fight, or can't put a face to it right now.
Yeah. He's not chiseled.
Do you think
he's not chiseled?
Do you think Nanu's going to win? Do you think the other bloke's going to win? Do you reckon can we get him? We got him first?
Yeah. Ngannou, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
All right.
He's on a hot streak right now, bro. Like anything that he's doing, he's putting people to sleep.
Well, I'm just trying to get the tips because I'll probably have a bet on.
Okay, you do that. Okay, good. There we go.
Just, yeah.
Well, so for the next fight, that featherweight one, it's Jeremy Stevens and Calvin Cater. Cater's actually one of my boys. We've met each other a few times. He's a killer. Stevens has got the heavy hands, but Cater, he's a young buck coming up, and I think he's got the goods to put Steven away. Steven, he's one of those fighters that he can get finishes, but he has a tendency to quit in the later rounds when it gets hard. Right. So Big Cater's gonna put him away in the third.
Doesn't like the deep waters. Oh.
No, even better. Third round knockout.
God, I think Jeremy Stevens might be the only MMA fighter my wife's ever felt sorry for, which was when he was on the end of who the fuck is that guy from Conor McGregor. And she was like, oh, that poor guy. Oh, look, they're all laughing at him. Oh no, like the way even Carolina turned around and laughed at him. You're like, oh, the poor dude. That's hard, when that guy's there. Okay, well Cejudo and Cruz, obviously your boy Henry, you're going to go with him. Dominic Cruz is tricky though.
Yeah, it's a tough one because Cruz he's been the face of the bantamweight division for years. and he came in from WEC, which was before the UFC, before they had the lighter weight classes. He was the champ of that division, and then he came into the UFC, was the champ for like at least 7-8 years. But just been riddled with injuries. He's been in and out for about 4 years. Been doing commentary. He's commentated a few of my fights. So I feel like he's going to have a little bit. He doesn't say this because he's against it. He says ring rust is a myth and it doesn't exist. But Henry has been the more active fighter. So I feel like Henry will be a more complete fighter. I feel like he will be the faster one because he can drop down to flyweight as well. Cruz does something that I'm not the biggest fan of. He does a lot of footwork and unnecessary movement to kind of confuse you. Yeah. But if you know what he's doing, you don't get fazed by the fancy footwork and the feints because he has to commit eventually. So for Henry, I feel like he just needs to stick to a stock standard style of boxing, wrestling style, and not get overwhelmed by, this fancy footwork and this unorthodox style of fighting. And he should catch Cruz or decision him. So it probably will go the 5 rounds, to be honest.
So you allow Cruz to dance and just wait for him to take a step in, and then you go.
He's gonna get tired eventually, bro.
Yeah.
So let him dance his way around you. He'll try pick you apart and get the points, but if Henry can catch him like he's been doing, he did it to Morales, he did it to TJ Dillashaw. I feel like he could do it to Cruz as well. So.
That reminds me of a saying that my old first 15 rugby coach, and when I say first 15, it was more like third 15, rugby coach would tell us, because we were always very small at Campion College in Gisborne. We always went up against boys high who were always bigger, and if they had a big dude on, our coach would say, let the big fella run, he'll tire out, and just let him run up the field for a bit, then take him out from the ankles. It never worked. We always got destroyed because the big fella would score, but let him dance. Let him dance, and he'll eventually come
in. Man, Tony Ferguson and Khabib, obviously now the world has shown it's just never going to let that fight happen. Like, you thought you were having it. Yeah, I know. Look at this virus. Deal with that. So he's going to fight Justin Gaethje, and man, I love watching Justin Gaethje go because he's like a yacht that's only got a spinnaker, right? He's like flying in there, and it looks like he just lands hard and all that too. Tony Ferguson, how do you describe to someone what Tony does? He looks like a just machine that just goes and goes and goes.
Tony Ferguson is probably the most craziest guy on the roster. He's not all there. Like, he is insane. I met him in Vegas, and he's just out the gate. Like, you can't. Yeah, there's only one Tony Ferguson. Yeah. So that's why you can't go against him. He's just so crazy. He healed himself through ACL without getting the surgery. He just said, "No, I'm not going to let him be injured," and didn't go to the doctors. And then it was healed, and he was fighting like 4 months later. It was ridiculous.
And bro, how hard is it to cut weight? Because we've seen him cut weight as well in that.
Yeah, he cut weight the other week.
No fight.
No, just
before the Gaethje fight.
Bro, he does this shit for fun. Like, his pain threshold is like one of the highest. Like, he embraces like physical pain. He likes that feeling. That's why he's not all there. But Justin Gaethje is like the Homer Simpson of the UFC. Like, he just takes punishment and he just gives it back. But this fight is just pure violence. Like, two of the most violent people on the roster. I just see it going one way. Someone's getting knocked the F out. And Ferguson, he's the master of cutting people.
Does choke,
really sharp elbows, and Chris boxing, both good wrestlers. But Justin Gaethje is like, just come forward, overwhelming, and will just knock you out cold. He's done it to everyone he's fought. So I think Ferguson's going to cut him eventually. Yeah. Just because of the style. Gaethje coming forward, he's going to run into some elbow or knee or something like that. It's going to cut his face, and then Ferguson's going to swarm him until pretty much the ref stops it or the doctor stops it because the cut is so bad. But you have to knock Gaethje out. He won't stop until you knock him out.
How would you...
this main event, I'm excited for. Like,
this is a really cool one.
That's a great main event. And you've explained it in a way that I want to watch now, and I just want to see if that's how it happens. How would you deal with someone like a Gaethje coming at you non-stop? Is that something you have to deal with when you're doing your prep?
Yeah, like you do have different sparring partners that will do different things. So like a Justin Gagey style of fighter, you just have to be comfortable with chaos. Like someone coming at you, you have to be able to move, turn it around straight away. But the best thing to do against someone that's coming at you is just meet them in the middle, because they're going to be using all that force coming forward, and it's like the law of attraction. You know, the faster they come, the harder the counter will land when they don't expect it, and you won't even need to throw a hard punch. They'll just be running onto it. So yeah, it's
running onto it. I love that.
you think you've got them in check, mate, and before you know it, you're getting caught. So with that style, you just got to be cautious, obviously, because there's a lot of danger coming forward, but you got to be cool-headed, stay in the line of fire. It's like that Teddy Atlas motivational.
Oh, the firemen.
The firemen.
Yes, the firemen. I love
We
the
live in
firemen.
the fire. The firemen. That's the kind of mentality you got to have, because when you're in the line of fire, you can't. There's no way out. You have to just go forward and meet them halfway. So with that style of fighter, yeah, you just got to take him to it.
Speaking of mentality, bro. Cowboy, you know, obviously short fight last time, but always loves to get in and have a brawl.
Yeah.
How do you reckon he'll bounce back?
So he's fighting Anthony Pettis.
Yeah.
So Anthony used to be the former lightweight champ. He actually cornered against me. I fought his cousin. So on my UFC debut in Adelaide, Anthony Pettis was in his corner. So I wasn't fighting him, but you know, it rubbed me the wrong way. I know. I bet his cousin side. I think he doesn't like me either. But and so that fight's like the battle of the veterans. Both these guys have been around for ages. Cowboy obviously coming off a quick loss against Connor, getting those shoulder shrugs, the old shoulder bump. So I think he's going to be a bit more rehearsed in the defense for that. But Anthony's like real showy, so like he'll always try go for the highlight round knockout. So both guys got good kickboxing. They got good wrestling, but I feel like they're just going to settle it on the feet.
Good.
Cowboy loves these fights, so short notice fights against a vet. That's Cowboy's like ideal fight. So
Cowboy winning.
Yeah, I think Cowboy could get it done. Just because I think maybe Anthony hasn't been taking him might have been taking him too lightly. But it all depends, bro. Like I don't know what these guys have been doing in their camps, just because everyone's in lockdown. You know, you're training out of your garage with like a handful of guys, so you don't have all those things.
Speaking of garage, is it true you went and got a boxing bag off the one Mark Pearce?
A really shitty one.
Yeah.
I've used it once.
Did it stop the draft coming in under the door? Or?
It's actually been a good doorstopper.
Yeah.
My apologies for that, Kai. I thought I was being helpful, but it turns out that when
I do appreciate it.
No, I know. I
could use it for a ground and pound. I put your photo on the bag.
It's probably doing as much as I would do on the ground against you as well. Like,
hey, just before we get into the video of the 53-year-old man throwing punches that scared the entire planet, just want to you were talking before about just Tony Ferguson and how he's like, you know, pain. It shows me how crazy that COVID test must be, because I don't know if you've seen the video of him. He had to get that COVID nose thing today. And even when it came out, it's the first time I've seen his face sort of go, whoa, like that. And that's when I thought, okay, now I'm really terrified of that. Because if he even reacted one little bit, I'm like, imagine that, a test that's too crazy for Tony.
Yeah, tickling your brain.
Yeah, man.
But it's a good thing. It's a good sign that they're doing it for all the fighters.
Yeah.
Like the UFC is one of the best companies in the world, so they're going to be doing all the medicals that are needed and to make everyone safe.
So there was a video that came out the other day. I was just talking about 53-year-old Mike Tyson, who's apparently in training for. He's got a charity exhibition fight coming up, and they had him throwing a couple of combos. Now I know nothing about it, but I looked and went, Jesus, have you seen the video at all?
Seen the video, yeah.
What did you make of it?
I posted a video straight after because I was like, if he's coming out of retirement, I want to see the David Tua fight. Him fight David Tua, that would be the fight for me. But he's looking lethal, bro. Like He still got it. That's something you never lose.
See the guy holding the pad and he come around with the hook. I was there.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
was like, fuck. Like, you know,
Yeah,
straight
bro.
out of there.
The
Raphael.
that pad you don't want to miss.
Like someone like him, though, if you think about it, and obviously he's coming out of retirement, wants to come out of retirement for exhibition matches. We're not expecting Mike Tyson to need to box more than a round, right? Like the guys that he's picking.
He's doing a 4-rounder.
I know, but the people who he's getting into the ring with, like, he's lethal. Like, and this is no disrespect to Sonny Bill Williams, who was a name that was thrown out there, but
It was
is there a difference? Like, are we talking a real difference here in class? And again, no disrespect to Sonny Bill, he's our best athlete we've probably ever created here in New Zealand. But Mike Tyson, it's Mike Tyson, and at 53, it's
a fighting thing.
It's a fighting thing, right?
Mike Tyson, he's always going to have that intimidation just because of who he is. Like you don't want to be going in there like mind fucking yourself already thinking, I'm going against one of the best ever, the GOATs. But Sonny Bill, if he takes that fight, like he's a super athlete, so if it's 4 rounds, that's light work for him.
Yeah,
light work because it's not that long, but you're still gonna have to make it out of those first early rounds. He's gonna be coming in ringing heavy-handed. Those left hooks are his best, the best in the game ever. I did a highlight comparison between David Tua and I reshared it.
Yeah, I liked your video. It's good.
Against David Tua and Mike Tyson, similar styles. Just lethal highlight reels. Like everyone just put to sleep out cold. So I would hate to be doing the charity boxing match, even if he is 53. Nah, it ain't the one.
Because I don't think that switch has been corrected yet. You know the switch that he flicks when he goes, and it might be charity, but you hit him, and I don't think he has that power to turn that switch off, and that's what scares me. It's still Mike Tyson.
Exactly. He talked about this openly. He hates who he used to be. Like he doesn't really talk about fighting because he doesn't like the person he was, because he wasn't human. Like when he went in that ring, he was in there to kill someone. And luckily he had big gloves on, so that wouldn't happen. But he's hurt a lot of people, man, and you can see the killer instinct still there. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I heard bare knuckle fighting. It's a promotion in America. They're the ones that are asking to put it on. I think they were saying they're going to pay him 20 mil to do this bare knuckle fight with him on their promotion. So
bare knuckle. So he'd do it bare knuckle.
Kill someone.
That's what they were saying. Bare knuckle, so you can put tape on it. I've seen people fight on it before. You wear tape but no glove. It's pretty crazy.
I watched Tim fighting in one of it once, but I was thinking like if you would Kai, if this was your organization, you wouldn't let a guy walk into the ring with like those hands bare knuckle, would you? Unless it was another boxer of that.
Exactly.
Like you couldn't let Paul Gallen go in because he was good at Cronulla, right?
Like it's for charity, and that's the way it should be. Like, you've done your time. You don't need to prove anything. And like, what's 20 mil to Mike Tyson? He probably makes that, anyway, doing his podcast and whatever. So,
his marijuana farm.
He doesn't need the money. So I don't think he would take it. And he doesn't need to do it.
Is there a more dangerous man who wants to get into the ring that doesn't need the money and isn't trying to set their family up? Do you know what I mean? Like, fuck that. When there's two people in the ring that are actually there because they're trying to set themselves up for life, but one of them actually doesn't need that shit, like, there's a problem with that person. That person's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I wouldn't want to get to 53 and still be fighting, There's a short window where I can do this, and luckily in my career I haven't taken too much damage. So I've been lucky enough to kind of look after my body and stuff, but there's a short window in combat sport, any kind of contact sport. You have to this, and you got to make the transition after fighting as smooth as you can, but you just got to be smart about it and have the right people that know your body and know you best, and know when it's time to hang them up. Luckily I'm not in that.
When is it time? What's the line though? Have you given yourself a line, a straight line that says, when I'm this age or when this happens to me, that's where? Have you given yourself that?
Well, I'm 27 now. I just turned 27 at the start of this lockdown.
That's
right. My birthday was on the day we went into lockdown. Right. But there's no blueprint of like the timeline. Obviously, you're as if you're healthy and you can still keep up for the young bucks and still be competitive, then you can do it as long as you want. You know, Mark Hunt was fighting till what, 41, 42. So yeah, that you're in your prime now, like where I am now, until like early 30s. So it all just depends really how your career's panned out, how much damage you've taken, what you're doing outside of fighting. Are you burning the wick at both ends? You know, there's a lot of things that are going to play a factor in all of that. So for me, I'll be retired in my 30s. I don't know, you know, transition. There's a lot of things that can happen after fighting, you know, opening up your own gym or being involved with the sport in some way, but not actually fighting. So something that I enjoy is giving back, sharing the knowledge, obviously helping the younger people. Something martial arts has helped me a lot in my life is teaching me self-confidence and knowing you can always talk your way out of situations. So it's played a big part in who I am today. You know, it's my identity and it's what I do, but it's not everything. You know, it's the surface level of what I am and who I am. So yeah, teach that to young people and try help mentor a few on the way. And martial arts is a great tool to do that. And yeah, it's been great to meet new people, you know, be able to travel the world, meet amazing people. But yeah, it's one of these things where what was the question again?
No, you've done.
How
You're good.
You actually had me. I was absolutely dumbfounded by the fact that I think everyone who, out of the Auckland City Kickboxing Gym especially, who we talk to, and they're so articulate and they come from such genuine places that just hearing you talk, you just mesmerized us with you're smart. Do you know what I mean? Like, for those people that still think of the UFC and say things like, oh, that's bloody prison violence and stuff like that, like, when you meet the athletes and you see the guys who are involved with this, 98% of the time, they will not let you down. Like, they are smart, they're articulate, they know what they're in for, they know what they're into, they know why they do it. It's almost like you could look at any other sport and say, learn from this. Like, look at these guys who are involved in the UFC. It's so much more than just a sport.
It's just one of these things, like, if you choose this as a lifestyle, if you're in it to hurt people and just to make money, you know, you're not going to last long. It's not for you. But if you're in it to, you know, progress as a person, you learn a lot about yourself when you're in the ring and there's no team to hide behind. You know, I played soccer since I was 4 to 18 years old. I was heavily involved in like team sports. But the one thing that gravitated me towards MMA and martial arts is because when you're in there, there's no, there's fight or flight, you know, and you learn a lot in your camps. And like, I'm constantly learning a lot about myself now. Like, I'm only starting to hit my prime where I have a set routine that works for me, but it's taken so long to kind of get to that spot where you figure out what works and what doesn't, and that's just through trial and error. And that's through everything: weight cutting, managing injuries, the dieting side of things, and then obviously in the fight, what kind of mindset you got to have. So in fighting, it's all mental. You know, if you're going in there with self-doubt, not confident, you already lost the fight. It's done. So it's important to make sure your mental is right, and you just got to be in the moment, just be present. And leading up to a fight, you know, I dedicate 10 weeks of my life revolves all around that one fight. So 7 days a week, you know, I'm training 2 to 3 times a day. In between that, physio, chiropractor, I see a sports psychologist. You know, so many things that go into this. I have a meal prep sponsor that make all my meals. I work with a nutritionist. I go to a recovery lounge. You know, there's so many things that just to get that 1% advantage over your opponent makes a massive difference. So when you're all in like this and you put so much into it, it's hard not to lose, just because you've got so much on the line. And just like in rugby or just like in any sport, you know, you got to be all in, and that makes a difference.
Hey Blake, you can relate to that. Hey Blake, professional rugby league player. That's how you were too, Blake.
I was once all in.
Hey, Kai, just talking about we've spoken about mindset and prep that you guys do, and about like a guy like a Mike Tyson that it'll be almost muscle memory for him to get in and do it, right?
Yeah.
I was thinking, but just with the talk recently that Paul Gallen was going, I want to have a boxing match. It'd be great to have one against Mark Hunt. With Hunt going in, because I know that it's different, like orthodox boxing to MMA and stuff. But I can't imagine Mark would play in a fight, if you know what I mean, or would he? Does he look and go, realize that he's kind of an entirely different level of fighter to this guy over the ring and take it easy, or just how do you think it'd go? Because I'm worried he'd just smack him once and really hurt Paul Gallen.
Well, Mark's funny. Like he will play until he gets hit, and he'll just turn it. Like look at the fight with Ray Sefo and Mark. When they were kissing each other on the cheek and shit. I can just see that happening. He'll kiss Paul Gallen on the cheek. Gallen won't like it. He'll swing, and then it'll be on. It'll be like a full-on fight.
Wow.
But there's levels to this. Mark was like a contender in the UFC for the title, heavyweight. Yeah. Like he's knocked out a lot of people, a lot of big
Grand Prix champ.
Exactly, and Paul Gallen, like he's a good boxer, he's a good athlete, good rugby player. But there's levels to it, and you can come in with aggression and overcompensate with that, but eventually the technique is what's going to get you through the fight. And Mark Hunt is shown to have that technique even now. He won't be training as hard, but he'll hit pads and you'll be like, this guy is sharp. Like, it's just another level, and it's just going to get Paul Gallen hurt.
Different levels, mate. It's called different levels. Hey Kai, so when do you envision yourself being in action next, or have you literally completely no idea?
No, well, so hopefully we're getting out of level 3 next week, right?
Yeah.
So my coach has got a group chat going, and he's saying that we will open up the gym back at level 2, obviously in the right protocol for social distancing and stuff. So I'm guessing there'll be a lot of fitness testing, which won't be too bad for me. I've stayed on track. I don't know about the other boys,
good.
Yeah,
I'll be okay. So that'll be good just to see the boys and get some sort of normality back into our structure. So hopefully get another like two months of actual like combat training with the team, and then we'll see what happens after that. So I want to make sure that I'm not coming in 50%. I want to make this next fight my best fight, and we'll see what happens. If I can fight at least twice before the end of the year, that's pushing it. If I fight at least one more time before the end of the year, I'll be happy.
Is there anyone you want to fight? Anyone you want to take on next?
Well, there was a guy, Cody Garbrandt. He was a former bantamweight champ.
Yep.
He wanted to cut down the fly.
That
if he comes down, he can get it.
He can get it. Yeah. You can get it, Cody.
But
neck tattoos off him.
Yeah, exactly. And change his kid's name. It's Kai as well. Nah, but it's one of these things. I'm ranked number 7 in the world right now for flyweight. The guy that I was originally scheduled to fight in San Diego, he's ranked number 9, Alex Perez. He's now got a new fight against Jose Formiga, ranked number 3, I think. So maybe the winner out of that fight is potential opponents. But pretty much anyone ranked higher than me. That's the good next goal. I want to climb the rankings, and I want to make a run for this title. I said at the start of the year before the shit happened that I wanted to be the flyweight world champ, but obviously the way things have panned out, it's out of my control. But if I can take out another ranked opponent this year and extend my win streak, that's what I want. So it doesn't really care who I'm fighting. It's just you got to win. Wins what progress you in the sport. And since we're coming out of city kickboxing, we've got a massive target now. But that's why we stay ready. Even though we're in these weird times, it never stops the training. You always can get better and progress in something. If it's not, physical sparring or drilling, you can get better in being flexible. I don't know, work on something that doesn't involve someone else. But yeah, for now, whoever's next,
they can get it.
I feel sorry for them because
Yeah.
I've been watching the UFC Auckland fight week, just reminiscing. You know, that was only what 3 months ago. So watching back over that, it just gives me goosebumps. I just want to do it again. You know, I miss that feeling of fight week. I miss that feeling walking out to the octagon, and you know, having that gut feeling where you're like, shit, it's go time now. There's no backing out. So,
Oh man, Kai, we're gonna have to let you go because we've spent so much of your time, and we want to thank you so much. Just a thing for us, if you are, and this is a request, if you are looking for a couple of punching bags, come leading up to your next fight, and COVID is gone, are we able to come in and bring the set with us, the set with us, and literally just be the boxing bag that I gave you, and be training partners to you?
No.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'll
mate,
film it.
Come
See
on
if you
down,
can
bro. You
last a
guys are
minute.
always welcome.
Yes.
I've got some spare gloves, spare mouth guards. Just chuck them in. We always need, you know, those confident rounds to get you to boost the confidence.
Awesome, Kai. Thanks so much for your time, man. We truly
the time,
appreciate
guys.
it.
Thank you.
All right, brother.
Thank
All the
you.
very best. Enjoy the rest
Cheers,
of lockdown.
Yeah, bro.
Cheers, boys. Too.
There you go.
Oh, the
No
man.
Beautiful.
No one else keen to jump? I mean, we could just
Oh,
be there to
yeah,
help, be a part of the
yeah.
build-up.
I'd
Yeah,
like
the
to see how long I could last.
Oh,
Like-
fuck, Blake.
Getting hit like-
I'd like, yeah. I'll be scared. I'd be shitting myself, probably running away, but like try and catch me,
yeah.
survive the round.
Oh, mate, you and Paul Gallen, same kettle of fish, eh? Just absolutely rate themselves as fighters. Kai's an amazing dude, and when you meet him in person, he's just this confident, small in stature, but just huge in mana. Like he's just the most confident, well-spoken dude, and you're just drawn to him. Like that moment where he was talking about, you know, his vision and how it was going. None of us, he'd forgotten the question. None of us remembered the question. We were like, what an incredible man, what an incredible athlete. Enough about Kai right now, though, because I wanted to move on to how shitty our day has been. Let's start, because there's been a whole lot of comments through, and thank you, everyone. I forgot to read out some of your questions to Kai, so apologies for that. First of all, how's the weather? Weather chat. Got to get some weather chat in there.
Weather around the world. Okay, yeah.
Weather around the world. How was your weather chat today, Comington? We'd
Yep.
love to read out, share that clout, your weather clout. Nate, what happened in your shitty day today?
My fridge door fell off.
Sorry?
My fridge door fell off.
Your fridge door.
One of the girls went to get herself a yogurt, and she shuts the door and then takes about 3 steps, and then there's this loud crash in the kitchen. I'm like, what? Because I was like, what the fuck is that? She went, oh, it's the... Then she like pokes her head back and goes, oh, the fridge door's on the ground.
So did it jump off the bracket, or did the bracket completely break?
Yeah, so you know your 2 little hinges that the door swings on and off of. The bottom one has basically just the plastics just snapped and disintegrated, and it just all fell off. So right now I've kind of got it propped up in there. It was real hard to do with. I'm like, okay, get the bottles out of there and put those back in, and we'll get this going quick. All the cold's getting out, you know. So of course I'm telling them to hurry up. The cold's getting out, despite the fact fucking doors falling off. But we had to get all that sorted out. But now it's this weird bit where like, then I went to cook dinner and I was like, oh, okay, I need the butter. So I was doing that bit where I'm sort of propping it up with my foot, only a little bit, and then just kind of reaching in as if I'm hopefully getting like, what is that?
What are they selling at the Peninsula?
Mate,
Bloody hell.
you've got a Tiatu Peninsula fridge if ever I've heard it. Just, you need to get the duct tape and stick it together. You need to hold the whole door closed for the rest of the night with duct tape. That'll do the trick.
That's a point.
That'll
Yeah,
do
what
the
about
trick.
your shitty days then? Go on.
Well, Blake's already told his shitty day. Tell us about your lips, Blake.
That's right, shitty day.
My lip, nah, it's just shit. Like it's bleeding, it's fucking cracked. I've got no lip balm. I have to use soap. Who knows what else? Like,
It's just terrible.
It's just shit. Like you can't do anything about it. What can I do? I'm locked down.
Have you seen anything other than your room today? Have you seen any of the boys?
Yeah.
Like, what did you see today?
Yeah.
Tell us all about
Look, I
Tamworth.
got sunburnt. I went out, watched them train. It was fun. That wasn't fun because they got flogged. It was fun because I didn't have to do it.
Oh, you're doing the
Sit down and watch. Yeah.
And are they still doing 10 at a time?
Yeah,
Yeah.
still 10 at a time in the groups, at least for till the end of the week, I think.
And is it the same 10 in each group? Sorry, this is geeky, but so they can switch the 10 up so long as it's only 10 on the field at the same time.
Yeah, so each day they'll get a group. Depends what day they're doing. So today was con. So they had like their forwards, edge, whatever. And then when they do the plays, they'll split up into where they'll play on the weekend.
Right.
Or when the comp gets back. So yeah.
Nice.
But that was fun watching them, and that was shit.
What about that stink story with it? That goes, oh, you know, Latrell was all tired at training. He was struggling on day one of training, and I thought it's day one of training, or is he supposed to have maintained mid-season form, Blake? Is that the thing?
You're supposed to. Everyone's supposed to come back at a certain thing, but it is what it is. Like I've played with like Marika Korobetti plays the Wallabies, Lottie Takiri, dual international. He's the worst. He'd be 30 meters or behind me, and I'm usually last, and he's behind me, and like, but he comes on the weekend and plays 80 minutes, scores 4 tries. Like, he's what he is, mate. Just the journos piss everyone off.
And my shitty day started with having to use the car for the first time to go and pick up some groceries, and the battery was dead flat. But the only thing that was running on it the whole time was just a tiny little digital clock that had been running on it, like nothing else. So that was enough to have drained. I'm guessing other things as well, but that was the only light up thing that I could see that was happening. So I joined the crew of people who have gone to use their car, and the first time since the lockdown, so however long we've been locked down for, that was it. That's since I'd used it, and it was completely dead flat, and it just turned into a nightmare a day. Everything just started going, ugh. Anyway, weather reports from around the country, let's get them in. Will Miller says, mighty fine in deep south. Aiden's coming in from Havelock North saying, frosty start, but my car started and the weather brightened up nicely. I see that. Nice, Aiden. Nice little dig there. Alex Faulkner says, sunny here in Aberdeen. Hey, Aberdeen. Is that Scottish?
Hey, in Aberdeen.
Hey, in Aberdeen. Yeah.
G'day, family. That's where the Taylors are from.
There we go. Ivan says, fine. And Claire in Cambridge. And Zaid White says, a bit cold in Auckland today. It was a bit mucka chilly. Reminded me of the old Wellington days, where you do have plenty of sunshine, but the wind comes through and you still got to wear something warm, even though it's sunny. So,
yeah.
That is us. That's a wrap, boys. That is us.
One of them days. All right. Well, look, for our Cultural Friday, I am still, in fact, I was messaging backwards and forwards today with hopefully our theatrical friends for tomorrow night.
Oh, yes.
What we're hoping for. So one of them apparently he had to have a bit of work done this week on an eye. So it's just holding him down a little bit, but we're trying to get to that. But last thing I heard was, yeah, bro, should be all right. I'll let you know. So that's where I am. That's
cool. So just if you're still watching at the moment, reminder, Bryce, thank you for your late entry. Sunny day in the valley.
Gorgeous.
If you're watching here, this is the plan. What we want to do is anyone who's keen to watch some comedy live, we want to put you all up in the front row. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the link to get onto the actual broadcast up on the screen for you guys to click on. You'll be able to enter into the waiting room. I'll bring you on screen. We'll mute your mic so you don't make an ass of yourself and drink beers while someone's trying to make a comedy set happen. You'll all be on the screen. So you'll see yourselves up live on the screen, and we'll all be in the front row watching the comedian do his thing. So that'll be happening tomorrow night. How about that? 8:30 p.m. Make sure you join us. Make sure you bring plenty of brews, and we will we'll have a proper comedy show happening. It'll be good fun. Great fun.
Yeah. Good Friday. Friday. The last lockdown 3 Friday.
All right, team. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. We'll catch you all tomorrow night. Ka kite anō.
Sport is back.